it in the chat.
Sorry.
I mean, and feel free to just shout it out too. That's fine. I'm down for discussion. But as we're all just kind of rolling in, it's just kind of an I don't know, an icebreaker. Call it what you want. I'm a sucker for a fudge brownie with a scoop of vanilla ice cream and a little caramel over the top of it. Call me simple, call me old fashioned. Doug's going with cheesecake. What do you like to top that cheesecake with, Doug?
Cherries.
Cherries. Okay. I live in Michigan. Traverse City calls itself the cherry capital of the world. I believe that to be true. So we do cherries up here pretty well. We got carrot cake. Joe just says rum. Is that like?
Got good blueberries up there too.
We do have good blueberries.
I'm from Ohio,
Joe just likes. Are we talking about a rum cake or are we just talking about rum? Because I mean,
rum,
I could go with
rum
either.
on ice.
Rum on ice. I like it. I like it. Are you like light rum, dark rum? You like an añejo? You like something little wood on it? Maybe we should talk about this later.
No clear rum. Añejo. That works.
Awesome.
Next week,
Kevin, I live outside. Was that Brett?
I said next meeting we should do a taste testing. We'll all try it out together at 10 a.m.
You know, if that's what it's 5 o'clock somewhere, isn't that what? I'm not going to say I haven't done that before. Anything with a hot fudge or a warm cookie. Kevin, I live just outside Detroit. Nick's with me on the brownie ice cream combo. Dig it.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Ooh. Do you have a particular brand that you like? Because not all mint chocolate chips are created equally.
Agreed. Any mint chocolate chip ice cream would be great.
Okay. I have found the Tillamook brand. I can get them as far as, I think they're out of Oregon, but Oregon knows cows. Wisconsin knows cows. We're close to Wisconsin up here too. Steve with pecan pie. Kevin lives in Birmingham. All right, Kevin, we may have to get together and have a little rum tasting then. That.
Birmingham.
Oh, you used to. Oh, you're from Birmingham.
That's right. That's where I was born and raised.
Okay. Yeah, I live in Novi.
I'm from just across the lake, just outside of Cleveland.
Well, I lived in Commerce Township right before I moved down to Florida, so that's right next door to you.
Yeah, very much. If you are just joining us, like Ken Yeager just joined us. Happy birthday, Ken. We're going to sing. Everybody, and a 1 and a 2.
It's okay.
Are you doing anything special for your birthday, Ken? It's a Friday.
The Kansas City Chiefs are playing for me tonight. So no, tomorrow I got people coming over and we're gonna watch the MUKU game.
Awesome.
And I'm gonna have the dinner I want, and then actually for dessert, mine's gonna be apple pie. So there you go.
There you go. Love it. What's on the menu? Are you cooking? Are you having everybody over? Are you going out?
I'm having everybody over, just kind of low key. We're going to watch the game, and then we're going to have my wife's going to make spaghetti meatballs. Actually, I'm going to get a fresh Italian bread and do a salad. There you go. Just
love
basic.
That.
Yeah,
that's such a great way to feed a lot of people too. Because, sauce goes a long way. People can control their own portions. It's not the most expensive thing in the world, so you can have more people.
And you're not slaving over you're enjoying the game or whatever, or the company, that type of thing. So, yeah.
That's the underrated part of hosting people too, is you want to have a nice dinner or something like that. But when you think about it, and we all work in the restaurant industry, right? There's a reason there's so many people in that kitchen, all responsible for something else. I find like just getting a meal on the table for my family with everything hot at the same time is hard. And there's only 4 of us. Awesome. Well, happy birthday,
Ken. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Happy birthday.
not to segue right into business, but I always tell customers, I don't tell them to have have a nice weekend. Tell them to have a prosperous weekend. So, because I know they're going to be working.
True.
Yeah.
Weekends are the busy time.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I want to get this kicked off a little bit with a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to ask everybody who can but currently doesn't have their camera on to turn their camera on. Brett can confirm this for me. Carl can confirm this for me. Do we have a couple other of the branch managers on? I'm looking through the thing here. Anyway, in our every couple of weeks, the branch managers and I get together and we talk about, just how things are going. And, I'm helping to support them, to support you all. One of the things that came up was the engagement level of this group was awesome last time. I want to keep that rolling. We had to prod Group A a little bit. So if there's I don't know if salespeople are, competitive or not. I know I am. If we're looking at engagement levels between Group A and Group B is winning, but Group A made a really strong push last Friday. I just want to say that, and I think Brett and Carl can confirm that because there was a lot of participation. But I also want to go through a little bit of housekeeping, and kind of get us, back on track after a couple of weeks ago. What we're doing together runs through a framework that I've developed called the 7 Steps to Sell Like You. And we started that last week. We started with this idea of knowing yourself, and that is, what is your why? Well, what I want to do, and you're going to see more of this next week because I've got an email that's going out to all of you next week, but I want to give you the framework for where we're headed in this engagement together, right? I don't want you to feel like you're flying blind and there's always some homework to be done and there's always something coming around the corner, but we don't know what it is. Over the next couple months together, we're going to walk through what I feel are the 7 things that you need to really know, understand, and leverage in order to sell your best. And what's funny was, during that leadership meeting, almost 2 weeks ago now, it was brought up, some of the feedback was brought up from multiple of the branch managers that it's like, hey, Jeff, I'm getting this feedback that we've got a lot of different people who sell in different ways here. Yes, we knew that. And that was one of the challenges Ian brought to me when we initially started talking about this. He says, we have, a lot of different branches and different locations. We're maintaining their individual business models as we've all been brought together here under the IFG umbrella. So we have to address a lot of things. One of the dangers of addressing too many things is that nobody feels like it's specific to them. Well, we tackled that. And I believe we've put together a program here where, look, I believe that everybody here sells differently, but I believe that there's something here in every session that we do together that you can take away and go right back into your territories, into your offices, into your showrooms, and you can put into play right away. And it may not be the same thing for everybody, which is my challenge, but I've accepted that challenge. I'm pretty good at accepting that challenge and following through on it, okay? So my challenge to you in this case is going to be to take 1 or 2 things away from every session that you can use right away. And I believe we've hit that. And if we don't hit that, then we'll let you know ahead of time that, hey, maybe this is a session that is specific to territory account managers in the field or whatever. And there might be times throughout this process where maybe you get the week off. Still have to confirm that with your managers, but we've put together a program that everybody should be able to benefit from. And that is the purpose of these 7 steps to sell like you. And so, particularly after the last session, it was like, okay, Jeff, you called out the internet as one of the big competitors here. And that is true for a lot of the salespeople and a lot of the branches, but there are also people on this call who are, retail show people or working in the retail showrooms or doing the e-commerce stuff. That's okay. So I just want to make sure that we level set here. And it's a difficult needle to thread with so many branches, so many different business models, but we're going to move forward because there is something to take way. And that is also a big reason why we start these first couple of sessions in a very interactive way. And we did the what is your why exercise in session 1. Then I sent you guys a survey, the survey responses. I was very pleased with the amount of responses we got. I wanted you all to think about these questions before we work through them today, but we'll get to that in a minute. The 7 steps are as follows. Know yourself. We're going to wrap up step 1 today. Next time, we're going to talk about knowing your best customers. It's really important to know who your best customers are, who they aren't, why they buy and why they wouldn't buy. Focus is important because that value proposition, everything that we feel so strongly about, is going to land differently for some people than it does for others. We need to focus on the people who really appreciate what we do. The 3rd step is know your process. We're going to talk about the sales process. We're going to talk about the things that need to happen. And then the 4th step is your methods. The methods are the art of sales. That's how we make those things happen. So if we talk about selling being an art and a science, and I believe it is both, the science part, those are the beautiful things that need to happen. And we'll go into those. But then we're going to spend a fair amount of time on the art. And this is where selling becomes fun. You have a job to do, but how you do it is up to you. Step 5 is know your rules. Probably not going to spend a lot of time here because this is company specific and you know what your rules are. We'll touch on it. Step 6 and step 7 are be held accountable and keep your swagger. 1, we got to make sure that we have people in our corners, holding us accountable to the things that we say are important. Accountability, micromanagement, different things. I want to be clear about that. Not in micromanagement, but I am into people who are looking out for me, helping to ensure that I get the things done that we need to get done. And then finally, keep your swagger. That's about keeping your level head. It's about keeping a good mindset. It's about making sure that you understand what you're getting into, managing your own expectations about how hard this is, realizing and exceeding your own expectations about how much fun this can be and how rewarding it can be. But it's really easy to get your mind off track. So I always close with a couple of really important stories and just some, this will be in a few months. So we'll get to it then. But if everybody's okay, I'm looking forward to leaning in. So what I want to talk about today is knowing what you bring to the table, right? And I forget who it was, but someone in the chat in our last session was in this group said, hold on, you said something there. What's the difference between subjective and objective and why is that important? And I talked about it a little bit there, but I want to reiterate that here today. We need to know why we are different. Because different is objective. Objective is important because objective, something that is objectively different, we can have a conversation about that. That is probably going to be something worth talking about. We do this differently, and let's talk about that. So when you have an objective difference that you'd like to discuss, you can start a conversation. When you come around and say, we're better than the competitors, we're better than this company, we're better than fill in the blank, well, someone might disagree with you. And when you disagree with someone, discussion very easily turns into, I learned a while ago that you can win an argument but lose a customer. So I'm not interested in starting arguments. I am interested in having conversations. Because conversations lead to sales conversations, which lead to sales. So why are we talking about this? Well, it's important to know why we are different. Because when we understand why we are different, we can start conversations with our customers around those differences. Those differences in our mind are what make us better, but we're not here to tell our customers that we're better. We're here to let them decide for themselves. So I want to start a conversation about why I'm different. That conversation will lead to almost always the right customers believing that that difference makes us better. When we're better in their mind, they're going to start to do business with us. Drop the number 1, drop a 1 in the chat if you're with me. Drop a 2 in the chat if you're like, hold on, Jeff, too many words. Chris is with me, Nick's with me, Steve. Okay, I have enough ones to know that I'm not, totally losing everybody. Okay, so that's the reason, right? And remember this, conversations lead to sales, conversations lead to sales. we need to have something worth talking about first. And our differentiators in front of the right people will lead to the right people wanting to do business with us because of those differentiators. That's why we need to know our best customers, and we'll get into that next time. But I want to open this up for discussion, and I will call on people. I will call on people if I need to, but who wants to? Oh, one more thing. I forgot to throw this out there. There is, I use AI to design the images in my slides. It's really easy. It's really fun. One of the things I noticed as I was finalizing this deck before last week was there's some kind of theme to all of these images. And I did not prompt this theme at all. And I actually checked the prompts for the images, and they did not reference this particular idiosyncrasy at all. And Carl knows what it was because he gets a little contest. If at the end of the session today, you recognize what this consistent theme is in the slides, I got a little prize for you. So I'm just going to call that out. But pay attention to the slides, and you'll be able to pick this up. First two people that answer will get the prize. Anyway, who wants to share their answer with me? Why do you believe that you are different? Why do you believe that your branch in your jurisdiction or your territory, your geography, why do you believe that you're different? All right, I'm going to pick somebody. I'm going to pick on the birthday boy. You're going to get us started. Ken, why are you different?
I knew you were going to pick me.
Well, your
That's
camera's
why I'm
on, you're
different.
leaning in.
That's why I'm different. Let's see. I did fill out the questionnaire, and I probably somewhat mentioned it last week in terms of why I feel my particular geographical area is different is my value added. I think my value added services in terms of I mean we lean heavy into exhaust systems here, and that it's twofold. It's better for the customer, and really it's good for IFG because we do get a nice margin on that type of work, and then we have a delivery services that I do lean into as well. We talked about the internet being one of our primary competitors, and I use the inbound receiving aspect of what I think we add that obviously the internet doesn't add, and that's I have my receiving guy, and he is my anal retentive receiving guy, and I point that out to my customer. I point out the fact that and we here replacement small wares weekly, that type of thing, but we lean into heavy equipment services for that. And so I do bring up the fact that nobody wants to handle a 300-pound convection oven or a 680-pound 10 burner range, or trying to get a two-door refrigerator. I just try to educate the customer to the difficulty of the heaviness of the equipment, and then I kind of go from and it just kind of helps sell B&J. We might be selling the same equipment, be it Blodgett or be it Adcraft, but I do lean into that a lot. So that would be my answer there, Jeff. So
thank you for getting us started there, Ken. And that's the thing.
You
There
bet.
might be some people who don't mind saving a couple $100 to move a 700-pound 10 burner range by themselves.
That's true, and that is but when you educate into the fact that how we have to do it, and it just they're just been to shows. I've worked equipment shows where I've had to assemble a convection oven, and I don't want to do it at I'm having a birthday. I don't want to do it at my age, and so
Right.
I mean it's anyway. So that's you just throw that up, and again all it is pointing out what we have. It's not necessarily saying that the other company doesn't have that, but they're not talking to the other company. They're talking to B&J right now, IFG. So
Yeah, and
that's
I think and I think when you talk about, and this is how I've always done it, it's how I still do it when I talk to my competitors or when I talk about my competitors. And there are a couple of benefits to this. When you talk about someone who's just going to send you something, they're going to drop it outside the door, they're going to leave it up to you. You say, hey, look, that's fine. You'll probably save a little bit of money. No problem. Just wondering if you've thought about this. You're not saying that's a bad dealer. You're not saying for not offering that. You're not saying they're bad for leaving it at the doorstep. They're just saying, hey, just so you know, just so we're comparing apples to apples here, they're going to leave that 680-pound 10 burn convection range, or 10 burner range rather. They're going to leave that right outside your door.
And they got some high pressure freight guy wanting to go on to the next stop.
Exactly.
And I don't care what, whose manufacturer it is. The thing about cardboard is it's got a memory, and it'll come right back into shape, and you don't realize you got concealed damage. So I point that out too.
Yep.
And it's like, and if they've ever did an online purchase, they realize what a headache it is when they do have damage.
Mm-hmm.
And and I know we got JES people here. That's how I lean into selling, but again, I sell things LTL too, because I sell a little concept called small cakes all over the country. And so, I deal with an LTL deliveries, and so I educate my customer to the process. And again, it just helps them. It's like, hey, I'm that guy that's the liaison. I'm the freight forwarder. I'm the, I sell boxes. I move boxes from the manufacturer to the customer. That's all we do. So
Well,
thank you.
And yeah, no, and thank you for volunteering that much. And again, it's there are all these things that are different. Some people may not resonate with that. Some people may say, you know what, I've got the experience. I'm happy doing it. Some people might say, you know what, I'm a geek for this stuff. I like putting it together. Some people might say, you know what, it's worth the risk for me to save a couple $100 because our budget is that tight. And if that's the case, say, look, your decision-making criteria just doesn't line up. Maybe this isn't your outside voice. This is your inside voice. It's like, hey, what you find important isn't what I bring to the table. That's okay. Because there are people out there, like I like to say, there's a lid out there for every pot. You ever walk down the street and you just see two people together holding hands? You're like, how did those two people end up together? They look like they're on total opposite ends of the cultural spectrums, right? Never would have expected those two people to find each other. But you know what? Good for them. It's the same thing. I want you to lean into what makes you different, because the more you lean into what makes you different than the competitors out there, the more you will find people who resonate with that. That not only helps you make sales, but it also increases your loyalty. We don't lose customers along the way. And so that's the thing. The internet at large can provide the same products that we can provide. It's not about the product. It's about whether or not everything that comes with the product is worth the difference. And we need to lean into those people.
Good morning,
Thanks, Ken.
Jeff.
Good morning.
Hey, sorry to interject here.
Please. I was coming to you next anyway.
Bless you. Happy Friday, everyone. So basically, I think what I do and what our company does is we show up unexpected. In other words, we are not invited. We just show up because we know that there's an issue, and we show up to say, okay, let's talk to the team, not even the director of F&B, not to the facilities director, but we show up to say, okay, we understand that there's an issue. Let's get on top of it and let's get some resolution without being invited, without a flag being thrown. You know what I mean? So I think that's critical.
So would you say that, is it more accurate to say that you show up proactively rather than showing up uninvited? Because showing up uninvited almost sounds like an intrusion.
No,
I think it's probably
but
mostly the same thing. I don't want to get too caught into the semantics here, but
I get it. I get it.
Go ahead.
Well, but it's, I know that my property, and I say and whenever I respond to an issue, I always respond as I talk to your team or our team, being inclusive of although I don't work for the property, I am a part of their team.
Yeah.
And critical, very critical. And when I show up, they're always happy to see me because they know that they have an issue, and they also recognize that I know if they have an issue, and I want to get that issue resolved. Like I said last week, the sale doesn't end at the signing of a purchase order. That relationship stays with you as long as we are in this relationship. It's like a boyfriend girlfriend.
Love it. Love it. There's probably a punchline in there about a girlfriend showing up to her boyfriend's house unannounced.
Well,
and maybe something.
Yeah, that's
I don't want to get into that.
that's awesome. All right, I'm out. Here I am.
Thank you, Andrew. Doug, talk to me about the best possible customer service.
Can you hear me?
I can. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I believe in giving the customer the best possible service. Listening to your customer, taking care of their needs, being there when they need you. Obviously, when they call and something's broke, that's a response to me. I go see the customer. I listen to the customer, what issues they have, and I come up with suggestions and solutions, and we make it happen.
Love that. So here's the flag I'm going to throw, though, because best is subjective. So when you talk about, if you're talking to a customer and you say, we give you the best customer service, that is a part that it's impossible to decide for everybody what the best is. So when you say, hey, look, we listen and other people don't, we pay attention to the things that other people don't pay attention to, that ends up yielding the best customer service for the people who want to be listened to and want you to pay attention to stuff. So that's the part that we gotta that is exactly the line that I want to delineate here, because you're not wrong. It's just that someone else might think best means something different than you do, which means that your point isn't going to come across clearly. And whenever I talk about this best conversation, I think if there were one best car to drive, we'd all drive the same car. But I have friends who drive trucks because they need to carry a bunch of stuff with them. I drive a little smaller car because it gets good mileage and it's fun to drive and it's, comfortable enough for me, but it's not, it's not too small, but it's not bigger than what I need. And I look down my block and there's 100 different kinds of cars because we all have different kinds of needs. They're all good, but which one's the best? Well, that's very subjective. So it depends. So best depends on what it is you're looking for. And so let's lean into what we do differently, and we will find the people who are looking for the things that we do differently. Right? So I don't mean to put you on the spot in front of everybody like that, but like you just gave me a perfect example of, okay, this is what you think best is, and I'll bet that's what your best customers think the best is. But lean into the listening part. Lean into we've got expertise and we pay attention to things that other people don't. These are the things that you can't argue with that we do, because we listen and you can see us looking at stuff. What our best customers find is that this is really important to them and they don't get that anywhere else. That's a really powerful message to say to deliver to a brand new customer or someone you would like to be a brand new customer. Right? Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else they want to add, or should I move on to the next question?
I would like to say one thing.
Please.
And, while we need to know our differences, we certainly don't need to lead with our differences with a customer until we understand what our customer wants from that particular sale and that particular conversation. I have customers who may want things drop shipped, and in the next sale, they may need offload, uncrate, set in place. The next sale, they may need more consultation than anything else. So until we know exactly what our customer expects from us, then lead with the differences and how we can take our differences and meet their expectations and their needs, then that's the key. is being able to match our differences with what our customer needs at that particular instance.
I love that you said that, Sheila. This comes down to asking really good questions and listening for the answers, not making the assumptions. Really good. And it's not the same thing every time. That's what you dug into there. I really love that with your response. Thank you. Anybody want to try to follow that? All right. So why are those differences valuable? Hammering on this point that benefits are objective, but value is subjective. The differences we bring to the table. And I will keep going back to Ken. I don't want to keep going back to Ken. We can refer back to Ken's initial point. It's his birthday. Let him have his camera off. John, you just shut your camera off. I'm coming to you.
All right, sorry, I left this on at the start of it. There's between makes you valuable. Well, for personally, I'm only been at this station here in Nashville. The biggest thing that I have for valuation compared to others is the large area we have in our warehouse, allowing our customers in a time of crisis to come in here. And usually we not only can have one option for them, we can give them ideally a good, a better, and a best option. I find that is really something that sets me apart from a lot of the other competitors around our area. And talking to most of my customers, that's their biggest value when I straight up ask them, when I spent time with them. They seem to really appreciate that, the large space, the chance that if they come out here, not only do we again have one option, but multiple.
Well, and multiple options they can put their hands on, right?
Correct.
I mean, like, there's a difference when we talk about Webster, we talk about some of these online dealers. Of course, they have enormous warehouses in multiple parts of the country. They can get you anything that's out there. But can you put your hands on it? Can you hold it? Can you see it right in front of you? Can you decide, not based on a picture or some reviews? Can you just, you hold that dish in your hands and you can tell the way it feels. There's so much more to be gathered from that. So the fact that you have in real life that good, better, best option for them, that's tremendous. That's huge. Thanks for sharing that, John. Kevin.
Presence.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at you. What makes your difference valuable? Go ahead.
Well, a couple things. In all my years in sales, I've always wanted to be the go-to person. So what I mean by that is help your customers solve problems. So they're comfortable coming to you when they have a problem as opposed to your competitor. So I think that's number one, why I believe I'm valuable, because I believe my customers, or I always try to get them to believe that I am the go-to person for them. If they have an issue, if they need something, they need it quick, call me. The other thing is quick turnaround. What I mean by that is if a customer comes to you or sends you an email or calls you, get back to them the same day. Don't wait till the next day. So when you're done with your day, answer that email, or at least if you don't have the answer it and tell them you'll get back to them, when you have an answer. So, and I'm not so sure, that competitors are always that prompt. So those two things for me.
Well, the way I would sum up what you just said there is availability and reliability.
Right.
Right. I answer my phone. I know the weekends are busy. I'm going to get back to you quickly if I don't pick up, even on a weekend. Right. And, one, I'm going to be available. Two, you can count on me to have something for you, to have some advice or to have some help or whatever that is. And, I want you to feel like you've got me in your corner.
Exactly.
That's huge. Not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody can do that. And there are a lot of people who can do it that don't want to. So again, if that is important to your customer, having someone on your team, then this is really going to resonate.
Yep.
Thanks, Kevin. Lamonda, penny for your thoughts.
I feel I'm valuable because, like they said, I am when my customers are. I tell them when you purchase from me, you get me. So if you have an issue, you have a problem, I'm the support system, and I walk them all the way through, and I can offer them the full package, which is when I go into my customers, I let them know I can offer you the full package. I can do your design. We can do, like, I just kind of lay out exactly, especially if that's what they're looking for. You know, if they're telling me, oh, I need this, I need that. Okay, well, I can handle it all. I'm a one-stop shop. You know, if there's not a brand I can't get you, what works best for you. So when they get me, they actually get the complete package, which is where my value come in, is they get the whole deal.
How, if I project that a little bit, I could see the potential where you or someone in your position runs into a situation where the customer says, well, I need you to be better on price. Whoever, Webstaurant's going to beat you by, I don't know, a couple $100, let's just say. And the intimation there is that, well, you should throw in your service for free because the price for these products is down here. And there are more and more people out there throwing in the service for free. Yeah, I'll have the conversation with you. Yeah, we'll give you the advice. Of course, we'll help you pick the right thing. So in this environment where, well, you should throw in the service for free. You're like, well, wait a second. Without the service, you're not getting the right product. So the customer will sometimes say the service is meaningless or worthless in terms of dollar amounts. On the other hand, it's the priceless part of the experience.
Yeah, well, I've come across that a couple times, and my response to that is, yeah, it's cheaper on Webstaurant, but when you get it there and you have to bring it in yourself. You don't have anybody that can bring it in and unbox it and put it in for you. Or if you get in and it doesn't fit, Webstaurant, you're not going to be able to reach them to do that return. Whereas you can call me and I can help you facilitate returning that item. You're not going to get that from Webstaurant. And they're not going to bring it in. They're going to drop it at your door. Whereas my guys can bring it in, unbox it, bring it in, and put it in for you. So yeah, it may be a little cheaper for them, but you get more value when you purchase it from me.
Yeah, and I think you have to be careful because I think consumers are taught to not buy the insurance policy, right? It's like when they tell you when you go to you get a new car, you lease a new vehicle, whatever, they're going to sell you this policy on the wheels, they're going to sell you this policy on the paint, they're going to sell you this, all that stuff, and it's like, okay, most times not worth the money. So the service, I think we have to be careful to not position it as, well, just in case you've got us, because then it just feels like an insurance policy that they're taught to turn down. But think about the effort, think about the headache, think about the control over when it's delivered. Think about, these are all the other things that you have to think about. Maybe they could go wrong. It's not about whether or not they go wrong. You got to do that now. Do you want to do it or do you want us to do it? Because we provide that. And all of that stuff comes along with my expertise of making sure you're getting the right thing for the right reason at the right time, etc. So I think it's really powerful, Amanda, the way you position that. But I'm just curious, and I want to throw this out there, and I don't need answers from everybody, but I just want people to think. There are a lot of things that customers are inclined to ask us for that have to do with our expertise. If we just flip that coin and said, yeah, but our expertise is exactly why we're talking right now, I think it's a very simple way to overcome that objection. It doesn't always work. Sometimes there's they don't want that. That's okay. We'd like that sale, but we need to remember that our best customers are going to value what we do. They're going to value what we bring to the table. They're going to be the customers we want to continue working with. And you'll probably hear me say this again later on, but like you'll never have a better day in sales than when you fire your worst customer, because they're the ones that aren't worth the commission check. They're way more headache than they're worth. And if we lean into what makes us great with our best customers, then, you know, we're going to have more of them and it's going to be much more enjoyable.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Since I'm the birthday boy, I wanted to give a shout out to all the branches and everybody on here. If you could pass it around, I do appreciate everybody letting me have the solo spotlight on my birthday, because I didn't have to share it with anybody else on this morning's announcement. So I appreciate that. And what Andrew said initially, and what Lamonda leaned into. And really, I mean, everybody, I had this hanging on my wall to summarize things. It's like, you know, I don't know if anybody could read this, but what I do is I tell people, I said, you know, it's like, hey, everybody's got this, you know, the same price. Everybody offers has the same offerings. The value is me. I am your insurance policy. I forgot who was last or before last. I mean, they jumped in there and said, hey, they answer the phone. I answer the phone after the sale. And that's the insurance
Amen to
policy that
that,
I
Jeff.
offer up. I offer that up as my insurance policy to them. And that's an intangible, and it doesn't cost money, but it's an intangible to them. That's the value I add. So we all answer the phone, I think, right?
Appreciate that.
I'm trying to show my my placard that I have here on my desk every day. It says it can be done. And that is just, you know, I mean, and it will be done every day, every day.
Thanks for that, guys. I got room for one more answer on this question. Who else wants to talk about it?
I'll go ahead and
Thank
talk
you,
about
Gracie.
it. Of course. I would say everybody's kind of mentioning like me, or, you know, just to piggyback off of what they're saying. When you go to purchase from Webstaurant, we all know like the first thing that we're gonna say is you have me standing in front of you. You know, the customer service aspect of Webstaurant, ordering online, Amazon, all that crap, we all know is just a doom hole that just nobody wants to go down. But yeah, my customer has me, but my customer has everybody else standing behind me as well. So we have, you know, our higher ups that are willing to, you know, maybe bend a couple corners to make sure that your customer is satisfied. It's not just resulting to me. I'm the first point of contact, but there's a lot that goes past just me, because then I have to pull strings. So, you know, the connections that our company has between manufacturers or the rep groups and stuff like that also does play a big role in that. So I would say, you know, I offer more than just beyond me. I have multiple other connections. You know, just pulling strings from different aspects, excuse me, of the company. So yeah.
Thanks, Gracie. There's a team behind you. When you think about the collective years of experience you have on your team, that's huge.
I'm
The
sorry, what was
expertise.
that?
No, when you think about the collective years of experience on that team,
Mm-hmm.
whenever a challenge comes up and it's, you know what, I really don't know what to do, but hold on, let me go talk to the 200 combined years of experience and the people in this office. Someone's got an answer. I'll get right back to you.
It plays a huge role when everybody can come together and you're kind of not talking to a robot, essentially.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Jeff,
Yes.
if I can interject, Gracie's killing it. She is golden.
Shocker.
I'm out.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks.
Way to go, Andrew.
Thanks for saying that out loud, and great job, Gracie. You want us to sing to you too after we're done singing again?
Oh, you can keep it.
Her birthday
It's
was 2
Ken's
weeks
day.
ago.
Oh,
Her birthday was 2 weeks ago.
Bill, don't do that. Oh my gosh.
Bill, while
Hey.
you're unmuted here, let's talk about this. Why does all this matter? Why
To
does
me
your
or to the
difference?
customer?
Why does no to the customer? So why does the we've talked about your difference. We've talked about the value there, but ultimately, what does that provide to the customer? What does the customer get out of that?
Peace of mind.
I love that you said that. That was literally on the tip of my tongue.
Because when a customer comes to you and says, I want to buy XYZ, and this is the price I got from Edward Don, Webstront, whoever, ask your customer, so you're buying this strictly on cost? And they'll kind of look at you and say, yeah, okay, I'll match the price. But then if something goes wrong, you're going to have a hard time finding me, because that's what's going to happen with the other people.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the customers will look at you and they'll start saying, well, explain your situation and what you mean by that. And that is, like everybody has said, after the sale, if something's wrong, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I also follow up. You also know me well enough, and you actually know where I'm at and where I live. You have my cell phone number that you can get a hold of from me. My cell phone is on 24/7. If there is a problem, you know I'll come and see you and I'll take care of it. But if it's strictly on price, I'll match the price, and everything else that I just told you that I do, you won't get. So how valuable and do I really matter to you? And you can see them start to think, and they'll say, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And you take it from there. You have to get to know your customer. What turns the customer on? What do they like? What don't they like? Find out their hobbies, find out their habits. If you're sitting there and you're looking around, look around the room and see what's in their room. Do they like to golf? Do they like to fish? Do they like to travel? Find out a little bit about your customer. Get to know them. Not just be a sales rep, become a friend and a mentor to them if you can.
Well said. Thanks, Bill. Carl,
Sorry, my picture's not on. I've tried everything to get it to kick on and it doesn't, so I'll have to get it fixed.
Thanks for that. I wasn't gonna. I mean, there's a lot of people that have run into that issue, and I appreciate you looking into that. And I won't hold it against you if it doesn't end up working, because teams is teams.
I'll
Carl.
get it fixed.
So I once heard all this distilled down to something very simple: price, quality, service. You choose which two you want. You can't have all three.
Yep. You can have the best price. You can have it fast, right? Or you can have it quality. Service being swapped out of there for speed. Yeah, I think it's interchangeable there. Totally right. And I think there are a lot of customers out there. And look, we talked about this in the last session. Every dollar feels like it could make or break your business if you're running a restaurant. The margins are way too thin. There's way too much waste. There's way too much money that walks out the door. Guests in the restaurant are fickle. Sometimes they cancel reservations. Sometimes if it rains, people just don't go out to eat. I mean, there's so many factors outside of control, and everybody's racing to make sure that it's affordable enough. You're going to get beaten up on price. It's the fastest way for them to shake you down. It's the fastest way for them to ask as if they can, if they can get something from you. But the fact of the matter is, if you win a deal on price, you're going to lose the next deal on price. And we don't want to continue to put ourselves in this position where we're constantly just lowering our margins. I mean, I know there's margin pressure from the top of the company here, and everybody, we got goals to hit and all that stuff. And Veronica, I see you. I'll come to you next. I understand there's pressure from inside the company, but that's because we have a company to run too, right? I mean, so there's a lot, and I think people understand. I've had some of the best conversations I've had with, the customers of mine, have been, okay, great. I understand that you want that price. I understand you need that price. Here's the thing. I am operating at a loss when I sell you at that price. I can't do it. And quite frankly, if I could, you wouldn't want me to, because this is a partnership. So I'm going to do everything I can for you, but what you're asking for is across the line. And that's similar to what you were talking about, Bill. It's like, yeah, okay, I can get that for you, but now I'm operating on a loss on the service aspect of it, and I can't afford to give you the peace of mind that comes with that range, with that convection of it. And here's the thing, when we talk about why this all matters, the customer doesn't need a range. The customer needs to be able to cook. You can have a range. If it doesn't work, you still can't cook. That's why that peace of mind concept is really important. Veronica, I want to come to you.
Well, it's kind of off what you just said, but it's not just the peace of mind, but I enjoy my job. I like the people I work for, but I don't work for free. They can enjoy being a chef. They can enjoy working in the restaurant, but they're there for profit. So if you're attaching value, so if you're saying like, oh, because you get me the service, but so it's also putting like the profit and the dollar to it. So if your stove goes down, how long does it take to get someone else in there? If I can be there, how much money profit are you saving by that? If I can do this, how much profit are you saving? How, like if you lost that business for an hour, if your refrigerator goes down, who's replacing that food? How quickly is it going to get there? So when you start attaching like a dollar, then that service actually is tangible. It's not the intangible. You're attaching a dollar value to it.
And that definitely makes it more tangible, doesn't it? I think
that's a great point, Veronica. FYI.
Well, again, when we talk about objectively different versus subjectively better, highlighting those differences, you're making your customer think differently. And this is the punchline, everybody. If you understand why your customer is buying, if you understand what they're trying to accomplish, you can help them think differently about how to accomplish that. And when you help people think differently about how they accomplish things, when you help people understand why they should be or what they should be paying attention to in order to have the best buying experience for them, well, you've now just augmented or shifted the reasons for their purchase. And when you have that kind of influence, you've got incredible loyalty. And it's not because you've manipulated the way they think about the sale. This is not some nefarious plan. It's like, look, if I'm teaching you some things, if I'm showing you some things that you hadn't considered, all of a sudden I'm earning that trust, that respect that makes you feel like you have a partner, which leads us right to where everybody feels good about why they work for this company and what they do for their customers. And so if I can have some influence over buying motives, I have a tremendous amount of influence over loyalty. I have a tremendous amount of influence over future future purchases, excuse me. And now we're the first, it's a no-brainer that we're going to pay a little bit more because I've got a partner. But this all starts not by arguing with people about why they should be doing with us because how great we are. It's about saying, hey, look, we do some things differently. You should consider this. Hey, I'm going to get a better deal at Webstron. Oh, okay, hold on. You're going to get a better price. I don't know if you're going to get a better deal because what comes with our price is this, 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 and this. I would just like you to consider how important it is to make sure that it's delivered on time at a time when you're there with someone who can unbox it, make sure it's not defective, make sure that it gets installed in the right place in the right way. And so you don't have a headache to deal with that later. If that headache is worth a couple $100, then hey, maybe you did get a better deal. Most of my best customers have found that the peace of mind with knowing that you have somebody in your corner who's thinking about you with a couple 100 years of combined experience between the team here to make sure that we don't miss anything so that you don't miss anything. So that not only do you get a 680-pound 10-burner range installed, but that it works when you need it to. And also, if something should go wrong, we're here to help. Those are the specifics that I find are not often communicated. And the reason they're not communicated is we know them internally, and so we take them for granted. And you don't want to hear the same thing over and over and over again. Well, if you're saying it over and over and over again, you have to hear it over and over again. And so that leads us to not be explicit about the reasons that we're different. And if we're not explicit to it with our customers, they'll never appreciate it. We assume that they will, but they won't be able to articulate it. So the more that we lean into this, the more that we talk about this, and my challenge for you is not just to know this stuff and understand this stuff, but it's to communicate it. Make sure this is a part of your routine. So why does all this stuff matter? What have I learned from your answers to your surveys? What have I learned from last week's session with Group A? How do we sum all this up? Your foundational differentiators here with this company are that you have a point of view and you bring it with you. You're not just here to take orders. You're here to point things out for them. You're here to see things differently than them. You're here to take your expertise from working in this industry for so long and putting that to use on their benefit or to their benefit. Your attention to detail, the customer first approach, so much to where we talk about our relationships with our customers as partners, and it's not marketing fluff. It's to what Kevin and Bob and some others have said. It's like my phone's on. You need the bat phone is on my in my pocket. It's on my person at all times. You need something, I got you. Deep industry knowledge, awareness, information, understanding. You speak the language of restaurants. They're not dealing with an untrained customer service person who's just there to take orders. We're here to challenge that line of thinking when we need to. We're here to support you in ways that someone who doesn't have that kind of industry knowledge simply cannot. We talk about being a partner. It's that expertise, it's consultative selling, it's integrity. All of these solutions address what you're trying to accomplish. We're not just selling you equipment. And we're there to point things out with a smile, like we're telling a really bad joke among a group of guys. I love these AI images. It's hilarious. I mentioned the word proactive earlier. I'm forgetting who it was. Pardon me. But someone said we show up unexpected. Was that you, Andrew?
Yes, sir.
We show up. Yeah, we show up unexpected. Show up proactively.
Yeah.
We're here looking after you. We're not just waiting for the phone to ring. We're here looking after you. Go ahead, Andrew.
So here's my reflective history is that I've been in food service for 35 years and I'm not that young. I'm only 22. Anyway, I know their pain. I know when they have a piece of equipment go down, because I've had equipment go down on me, and next thing I know, I'm SOL. You know what I mean? So being able to feel their pain and know the urgency of having to get that fixed or replaced is top on their mind. And to be able to communicate to them is also a leading. Not into a sale, because you know what, I never wanted to be in sales because I didn't want to live by a number. But it's funny that now that I am in sales, I am here to fix your issue. And if that issue costs them money, well then, I mean, we're talking about Marriott, we're talking about Hilton, we're talking about industrial leaders in the hospitality industry. So they got plenty of it, and I'll help them fix it. But what I'm saying is letting your customer know that you know their pain.
Mm-hmm. And you make a point there about industrial leaders, and they have the money somewhere. Listen, we're gonna get beat up on price. That's fine, but most of your best customers are selling at a premium too. So, they understand what it means, and they get beat up the same way. And, the ones who end up winning those price arguments are the ones who are usually the ones that are willing to stand up for themselves. And so I like the way you said it that way, Andrew.
It's the relationships.
Yep.
The relationship is sales.
Mm-hmm.
Sales is relationship. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yep.
it's if I don't like this guy that's over here, but I do like this guy that's over here, or this lady that's over here, I'm going to buy from them because I know they've got my back.
Thank you. We're going to land the plane here because we got a minute left, but think about communicating those reasons, right? And Andrew, to your point about relationships, what is that relationship founded on? It's founded on the fact that you get something from us that you don't get anywhere else. That's inarguable. Whether or not you're willing to pay for it is where the argument comes in. But how do we set the stage for being different, which makes an impact, which delivers value that no one else can deliver? Now, real quickly here in the chat, if anybody noticed the difference, I'm sorry, not the difference. Here I am talking about differences. If anybody noticed the theme that kind of ran through all my slides today, Kevin and Nick got it. Scallops. I don't know why scallops. AI loves scallops for some reason. But Kevin and Nick, you guys both win a prize. Your next cup of coffee's on me. Thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a family show at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I want to give you a little heads up. We are off next week. So Group A will be 2 weeks from today. I will see you again 3 weeks from today. I have a little bit of a survey that I want to send you. It's very similar to the last one. Should only take you 5 minutes. I'm going to send that link out here in about 5 minutes. But we're going to talk about our best customers. Who are our best customers? Why do they buy? Why wouldn't they buy? Okay, so I want you to put a little thought into that. In that survey, there'll be a little blurb that goes into it, so I don't need to belabor it here with no time, but that's coming. You'll get that here in a few minutes. If you don't, then just relay that to your branch manager. I'm going to be sending everything out again, some follow-up stuff next week. But thank you again for the interactivity today. Thank you again for your participation. Love the energy that this group is bringing. We're going to do another interactive session like this next time, and then we're going to dig into it's a little bit more traditional training for a couple sessions. So looking forward to spending the next couple months with you. This has been good. Thank you. Have a great weekend, and happy birthday again, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Jeff.
You guys.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Everybody have a
you.
weekend.